Exercise that you're doing before you start playing that unnamed tune?
No, I mean, my normal warm-up, I don't have a normal warm-up exercise other than like a general theme, which is to do something to kind of get loose, and that's sort of a very exaggerated version of that. I wouldn't quite go that far, but something I don't like to start too cold, where I just like, take the horn out and go, all right, it's warm-up time, so I'm going to do long tones and scales and various things. Like I do something to make myself feel weak. So what I mean is, like, I take the horn and I start playing, and it doesn't take but a minute before I'm like, oh, these fingers are not even, and oh, that doesn't sound good, and I'm really not warmed up enough to play that high up the horn yet. Something where I kind of hit a wall, and then that, for me, will sort of determine how I spend that chunk of time. If that makes any sense. I mean, I have very specific, all kinds of very specific warm-up type things that I do, but it's sort of like I'll choose one of them off the shelf depending on what I feel like needs the most work right then. Makes sense. I mean, I can tell you what some of those things are. I mean, I basically want to feel loose. I actually, from being on the road so much and being in road situations where playing, like being in tour buses, playing arenas and stuff where you can't go running down the halls of a hockey arena warming up on a saxophone unless you want to get fired the next day. So I had to kind of figure out ways to warm up without actually getting to touch my saxophone. So I have a whole series of just like, I'll shake my hands out and I'll kind of, roll my wrists around, and I'll do things to get my forearms warmed up, just like pretend like I'm squeezing tennis balls. I'll treat it like you were going to the gym, like do like 4 sets of 25 reps and stuff. The point being, what I want to do is have these parts of my arms and my fingers feel really loose and warm before I even touch the sax. I don't do this every single time I take the sax out. I mean, for instance, I've been playing a lot the last couple days, so I can kind of take the horn out and I'm sort of already in the zone of playing. But sometimes that's not the case, and I have to do more strenuous things to get myself warmed up. And then I will play, like I'm just a huge fundamentals guy, so most of my practice time is spent long tones, overtones, and scales really, really slow.
So much of your playing is so just organic and fresh, and it just seems like you've got ideas that are just coming from all over the place. Is there a certain practice that you do to incorporate that, or is it just the music you listen to, or where does that, or is it just that you're so immersed in it that it just spews out of you?
Excellent question. I'll do my best to give a thorough and I'll try to stay as close to that as possible. It's a great question. So I look at it as like 3 things. I use this really simple acronym that I've started telling people. FIT, fundamentals, improvisation, and tunes. Got to be working on all three of those things, because if you just spend all your time on technique, if you got a lot of books and you practice a lot and you got all these chops and you can play scales, but you don't, assuming you're trying to be an improviser, but you don't really spend any time working on improvisation, such as learning vocabulary, transcribing, maybe taking the 2/5 licks through all the keys, getting familiar with what the nuts and bolts of improvisation are. That's like, playing with good time. All these things for me fall under that category. And then tunes, which is probably the most overlooked thing. It certainly was for me when I was young. I mean, I spent lots of time playing along to, Jamie Aebersold's and stuff, but I actually, years later, discovered I didn't actually learn any of those tunes, because I cheated myself out of learning, because I used the play along as a crutch, and I would put on the CD and I would jam along to it, and I would look at the page and I would never really remember the tune. So for me, it's like the fundamentals is the core. That's what I spend the most time practicing on for me now, because all I really care about is having like the best sound I can have and the most fluid access to my fingers, where like I want to have my range from the bottom to the very top even and accessible. That way, I figure if I feel strong about my sound and I feel strong about my ability to move up and down the instrument, then I'm making it really much easier for me to play whatever I hear versus play what I've been working on. Like if you've been working on a bunch of licks or something and that's all you're focused on, then you're just waiting for an opportunity to play that thing. When I'm playing, I'm trying not to think about stuff like that. I do want it to be organic, and so for me, the fundamentals thing is my way of kind of evening the playing field for myself, so that I'm just can be ready and open to whatever I hear at the next turn, And then the tunes thing is so important, because like probably as recently as, gosh, I don't know. Let's say 5 years ago. I mean, I was a fine player then, but I don't think I could have sat comfortably in front of a group of people and played a song such as like Body and Soul all by myself, because I would have only known how the melody went, and I would have only known like the first that was basically like what key it was. I wouldn't have known all the intricacies of the changes, and so therefore I couldn't play with any confidence. So once I started like really examining my tune learning and going back and addressing all these holes in my playing, that just opened up a whole new world of stuff to play. And then the other thing is, like obviously I spent time in high school and college. I mean, I've listened to, when people are like, who do you listen to? Like, I've listened to everybody. For 3 years I listened to nothing but jazz in high school, like nothing. If it was anything other than that, I didn't want to hear it. I was a total snob, complete total immersion. And then I crawled out of that starting in college and started like accepting, pop music that I liked and stuff. But so I did all that. I learned lots of, I worked on the Sonny Rollins, Sonny Stitt, Eternal Triangle stuff. And I can't remember it actually. I spent time learning all that stuff. That's where the vocabulary comes from. And for me, that's way more important than a book of licks. I don't believe in that stuff. I think a book of licks will teach you how to play a book of licks. So if you want to get really good at reading licks out of a book, then that's what you should practice. But if you want to play, have a fluid jazz vocabulary, I think that comes from listening, transcribing, getting inside what guys you and I are playing, figuring it out. Not just transcribing from top to bottom, but figuring out, going, what is this? Why does that sound so cool? That's it, stop right there. And then going, oh, it's wow. Okay, so actually over that G7, it's almost playing what these notes, and boy, if I were to put that around differently, it almost is like an F minor 7 chord, and then going, so wait, so D minor G7, but he kind of is hinting at this F minor 7. It's like, and then for me, I begin to make lots of little associations with how I think about theory and stuff. So I'm a big believer that you can get a lot out of a little, you know. So I spend time doing that, and then, you know, learn.